Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Lately Fashionable and my monthly UFO shenanigans. If you are new here, I am Chelsea Souter, and every month this year I am taking a UFO or unfinished object from one of these boxes and trying to finish it within that month. I got this idea from Shelley Robson. Her YouTube channel is The Quilted Forest. You should check it out. And this month is kind of a doozy, I'm not gonna lie. You may have already noticed the runtime of this video, so I'm gonna keep this intro short and sweet. My May project was finishing this jumpsuit turned into a dress from this beautiful blue floral quilting cotton. And I will let Past Chelsea take it away. Hello, it is May 6th, so I am already in much better shape than I was last month with this month's UFO. However, once again, my projects are begetting projects. Technically, I haven't actually started the UFO, but I have been working on the cobalt blue linen playsuit that I'm making for my Hawaii trip, which is upcoming. You may or may not have seen that video yet. I don't know when it's coming out in relation to this one. But anyway, I kind of thought, hey, while I have my machine threaded in blue, I might as well start working on my UFO. So I pulled that out to see where we are with it, and I figured it out, and then I set it aside again. Went back to work on the playsuit, got a little bit over-exuberant on the playsuit because I am making these two tops to coordinate with the shorts that I'm making, and I had to size up both of these patterns because this is a size small. I'm not a size small. It's, you know, a true vintage original pattern. It's falling apart. So in addition to needing to size up the pattern pieces, I also don't want to continue using them because they're very fragile. So I was kind of like, hey, as long as I'm sizing up these two, I might as well size up the other ones as well. And then I was like, well, if I'm sizing them up, I should at least make a mock-up of each pattern and make sure that it's going to fit me. So then I got really excited about making these other tops that don't match my playsuit because I was just grabbing random pieces of cotton that I have very small scraps of because this is a really good scrap busting project. But then I found these two fabrics, which I think coordinate really nicely, and this is a scrap of, I think my mom made me a dress of this fabric when I was, I don't know, like 10, maybe 11 or 12. I loved it. I love the strawberry print. I think it is so whimsical and cute, and I remember loving that dress. And there's not really enough left to make anything significant from this. I couldn't even make a dress for my daughter. Maybe my mom still has the old one and I could put her in it, but I want to make something from this. But it's not really the right fabric to make one of these because these are all very small pieces, and this is such a large print that if I did make one of those bra tops from it, it would just get completely lost. And then I thought, what if I make just the top of the cute little jumpsuit romper thing that I'm making for my UFO from this pattern? I think that would be a really cute top, especially if I did this shoulder strap option and I could use the coral pink fabric for the shoulder straps. I think that would be really cute. So then I started laying out the pattern pieces and seeing if I could fit them on here, and I think I can. I think I can do it, but I should really actually make the dress I'm making. I'm not making a romper. I'm using the romper pattern, but it's not going to have bifurcated legs, partly because I don't want a romper. I don't want to have to get completely undressed to go to the bathroom, but also because I really didn't have enough fabric to make that work. I barely have enough fabric to do what I am going to do. But I should really make sure that fits me before I cut out another garment from the same pattern. Right? And it's probably not going to fit. I'm probably going to have to do some expansion at the side seams, but I have thoughts on how I'm going to go about that. Okay, so when I cut this out and started sewing it initially, I got as far as sewing the princess seams of the two front pieces, and I did keep this pleat. This will be an inverted box pleat in the middle after I take out the basting stitches. So it's still going to be cute and a little bit flared out from the hips. This is the top, and it's going to be kind of short, but I would say I remember now why I stopped working on this in the first place, but I didn't remember. I had to do some like archaeology about it. But this is the back piece, and as you can see, it is quite a bit shorter than the front piece it is supposed to attach to. And I realized that I had cut the back piece on the wrong cutting line. I was supposed to cut it here, and instead I cut it here. And I think that happened because I was just going by 2 lines down from the top, but this is not a cutting line. This is the crotch line. I'm not sure why that needs to be there. They should have made it a dotted line or something so as to not confuse me. But anyway, so this is, you know, a good 4 inches short. And I don't want to make it the shorter version because, like I said, it's not going to be bifurcated legs. I think that would be fine if I were making the culotte short version. But since I'm not, this would be way too short for me to wear as a dress comfortably. What I was thinking of doing, like I said, when I first cut this out, and I don't remember how many years ago that was, what I did was cut another top piece, and I was going to make it look like there was a bodice and skirt portion for the back. But obviously that's not going to work because those don't line up, and then also that drops the waist dip down to where my hips are, so that's not going to work. I'm not doing that. But I figured out a solution instead. I am going to add these pieces down at the bottom. I have some good chunks of scraps left to work with. Not enough, obviously, to cut an entire new back piece. But if I do this, I can add these here. I'm going to open that seam back up and piece in a chunk there. But I also might add in a section at the back just to make it larger. That might be cleaner and simpler than adding a section in both side seams. But I do have these long strips that I can add. So I could just piece that in, make it larger, piece that in. I'm gonna make it work. It's gonna work. It's gonna be good. Also, I think to ensure that it fits in the front, I'm going to add a long strip. I have this pretty big chunk that I could take, you know, a strip about that wide and add a button stand because it's going to need to button down the front anyway. I should make sure I have buttons for this. So that will also add to the center front instead of folding it in and making the button stand that way. If I add another piece, that will expand it, and I think I can make this work. I also need to figure out where I'm going to add pockets, probably the side seams, but TBD. But like I said, I should really make sure my alterations are going to work and fit me on the original garment before I cut out a whole extra one. But I'm really excited to work on that strawberry fabric. Of course, I only have 10 minutes left before I need to go pick up my kids from school. Story of my life. So I think for now, I'm just gonna do some ironing and see where I end up. Oh, I should point out that when I cut this out initially, I did add to the size because this pattern only goes up to a size 10, and I graded it up to probably a 14 or 16 based on the amount of margin I have on these seam allowances here. So it's possible this won't be as too small for me as I was dreading. Did that sentence make grammatical sense? I hope so. Hello, it's the next day. I have done things and recorded none of it. But that's okay because I can show you what I've done. I have a try-onable dress and I think it's going to work. So what I have done is first I added this strip to the back and I flared it a little bit so it's wider at the hem than it is at the top. And as you can see, I have not yet added that extension bit at the bottom, but I have sewn it together and it's actually going to fit really well, especially now that I have let out the seam with the wedge in the back, because when I first tried it on, this is my second try on, when I first tried it on, it could only overlap at the bust and down to the waist, and from the hips down, it would not, it was like this far apart. It was not meeting at all. So I let out both of those seams and that has helped a lot. It's now almost closing, and I'm still going to add the button placket extension that I planned. That will work and make it so that it overlaps and has the buttons. Now you can probably see this is too big in the bust now, which is fine because I can always take it in, and I'm still deciding if I'm going to put the original darts from the pattern back in or if I'm just going to take in the excess from those seams where I added the wedge down the back. But yeah, overall it's going to work. Pretty happy with it. Oh, the reason I didn't add the extension at the bottom in the back yet is because I wanted to make sure the fit was good and I didn't need to mess with the seams at all, and it's good that I didn't do that because I did need to mess with the seams. And I want to finish the seam allowances before I add this. So I think I'm just going to overlock the raw edges and then I can attach that piece. Oh, you can also see I have let out those inverted box pleats that come out from the bottom of the bodice princess seams. So that does give me some extra room in the hips, which is good. My mom is bringing me some buttons when she comes to visit in a few days. I did not have any buttons in my stash. I looked, I had nothing that would be even remotely suitable, but luckily my mom had some, so she's gonna bring them. It's coming together. Okay, it is the next day. I have put the darts in the back and it's still pretty loose up top. And I am actually wearing it over the long line strapless bra that I will need to wear with this dress because it is not going to be structured enough to stand up on its own. So it's going to have a halter strap, but I'm going to need the support. So this does give me a really good idea of how it's actually going to fit. And yeah, it's definitely too roomy. And you can see in the back how bunched up it is. So from the waist down, the fit is really good, but from the waist up, it needs help. So in the absence of anyone to help me fit it on myself, what I'm going to do is pin at the side seams, just pinch in how much I need to take it in, pin it there, and then take it off, measure how much I'm taking in at the sides, and then distribute that between the side seams, the back darts, and potentially the back seam where I added that wedge of fabric. So it's experiment time. This is looking super cute. Oh, I'm in love with it. Yes. I've still got a little bit of wrinkling in the back, which I'm gonna deal with later. I think I am happy with the fit at the top, so I can go ahead and cut the facings to match this neckline, because the neckline is doing what it needs to do. It's the waist now that's an issue, and I can fix that later. Maybe when my mom is here, she can help me fit it better to myself. I need to add the extension at the back so that it's, you know, longer than my slip. And I need to add pockets. And I should also go ahead and add the placket extension for the front button closure. Then I can hem it, and when my mom gets here I can add the buttons and fix the waist issues. Oh, and the halter strap. I can do that too. Yay! Did I go and do any of that sewing, or did I immediately go and cut out the other top that I want to make from the strawberry fabric? I feel like you already know the answer. But of course, since I now know that my pattern will fit with the changes that I have made to it, and adding a strip down the center front for the button placket, I did have like exactly just enough to cut out all of the pieces. I had to fudge the seam allowance on this bit, but that's okay. I also had to piece it here. You can see it. That's the center front, but I think the pattern is busy enough that it's not really going to be noticeable. Also, one of each of these front pieces is going to be upside down pattern-wise. So this is upside down, and this one's upside down. But that's okay. Like I said, it's a very busy print, and it's not really going to be noticeable. I cut the back on the fold, and then I marked the seam line, because I'm going to take that in as a dart, basically. And also, I think that's the issue I was having with the back of the blue dress, because this wedge piece that I added in is, of course, on the fold, so now it has a straight up and down bit in the back instead of, you know, a dip in where the spine does that at the waist. So I think I'm going to also add this little dart to the back of the actual dress. So cutting this out actually helped me figure out how to fix the main garment that I'm supposed to be working on. So it's not like it was time wasted or anything. Also, I'm going to have a second garment, and I'm really excited about it. I think I am going to flatline this fabric, because you can see it is just see-through enough that I think the seam allowances would be really noticeable wherever the fabric is white. So I'm going to flatline it with plain white cotton, and that will also give me the extra, you know, bit of this seam allowance that I just didn't have enough of that fabric to fill in. And then I have this scrap, which is going to be just enough to cut a strip for the button placket, and then I'll have to piece a second strip because this part is not, you know, tall enough. But that's fine. It's also sideways on the grain, but it's probably not going to be noticeable. It'll be a very small strip, and it's going to be covered with buttonholes and buttons. So yeah, I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be really cute. And now I need to go eat some lunch because it is noon and I am starving. Okay, I'm back. I had some lunch, I ran some errands, and I did some sewing off camera because my neighbors were outside talking really loudly and I couldn't film what I wanted to film while they were talking, so I just made some adjustments to the back of the dress. I decided I really didn't like how I had taken in these seams of the back wedge, is that what I've been calling it? I just didn't like the look of the lines, and even though it's a really busy print, I wanted it to look more intentional. And it was also pulling the darts inward at the top, and I didn't like that. I want the darts to be straight up and down. So I took out what I had taken in on those two long seams at the top, and I took in that amount in the darts instead. So now I have 3 lines of sewing on my darts, and I'm just going to leave it in because they're just getting pressed to one side. Who cares? I am going to overlock the raw edges of the wedge seam, which is a 1/4 inch seam allowance, the smallest seam allowance I will sew on a garment. I'm going to overlock the edges together instead of overlocking them separately and pressing them open, because I want them to have plenty of strength. And then, as you can see, I also went ahead and did that center back dart where it comes in at the back of the waist and then tapers out down to the hips again. So overall, I just really like how this is looking in the back, much better. And I need to try it on and make sure it's still gonna fit. Okay, it works, it's good enough. I will probably still have my mom help me with some adjustments. Anyway, it's very convenient that I'm wearing a wrap dress today for all of these try-ons. I should remember this for strategically dressing for what I'm going to sew. It's helpful. Also, I went ahead and picked up buttons for the strawberry top. Aren't these adorable? They're exactly the right color red, and they've got these pretty flowers on them. One of them is dirty, so I just need to like clean that with an old toothbrush or something. But yeah, I really like them. And I think it's going to be okay that my buttons are red and my straps are going to be this coral color, because they both pull from different parts of the strawberry. I think it's going to look good overall. It'll be cohesive. I'm happy with it. Alright, gotta go pick up my kids. Bye! Okay, where were we on this project? It is Mother's Day, obviously. My daughter made this. My son colored me a picture of a blue flower because blue is my favorite color. Also, my mom is on her way here right now. She will be here in like the next 40 minutes. I'm not sure. My brother's bringing her. And I got her ice cream for her Mother's Day gift. Anyway, let's check in on the dress. I have finally, where is it? Added the extension to the back skirt so that it is, you know, long enough. I'm really happy with how that looks. I think, like, there's a lot of seams, but once again, the fabric is so busy that I really don't think it's going to be noticeable. And who cares if it is? I am so thrilled with this because I love this fabric so much and I just want to wear it. That's all I want. But also, it's looking really cute, so I'm quite thrilled. I did cut out and iron the button stands, but I was thinking about order of operations, and I think I want to do the top neckline facing before adding the button stand. But I'm realizing, as I'm speaking to you, that I need to make the halter straps so that I can sandwich those in between the outer fabric and the neckline facing. So I should sew those together, turn them right side out, then add the facing, turn that right side out, and then finish with the button stands. And then hem it. Then I can do buttons and buttonholes. And I can finally have a finished dress. Did I mention my mom is bringing the buttons? So excited to see how those are going to look. She found buttons in her stash that are all the same style, but 3 different shades of blue, which I think is going to be fine because there are so many shades of blue in the fabric. It's going to all blend together and just be beautiful and funky and fun. I hope. Right, so let's cut out the facing. I've got this scrap of the salvage edges of the fabric, which is exciting because then I don't have to hem it. Hemming facings is just no fun. So I think I'm going to like cut here and then angle it to match, maybe cut there, and put it together so that it mimics the curve of the actual top. Okay, it is the next day. My mom is here, working on her own project. Hi, Mom.
Hello.
And she brought me the buttons she promised. She actually brought me several options, but these are the ones we settled on. So there are 3 different colors of the same style of buttons. And I think they're going to work really well because there's so many different colors of blue within the fabric. They're going to be a nice variety. And I have finished the facing. Got all my raw edges overlocked. And I've done the halter straps and pinned those in place. So now I just need to stitch them in and then try it on and make sure the straps are in the correct place and that they fit. Then I can go ahead and do the button stand. Hooray! And it's actually really perfect that my mom is here for helping me finish this dress and bringing me the buttons, because I borrowed the pattern from her in the first place many years ago. And she actually made this pattern for a trip to Hawaii that our entire family took in 2005 for my brother's Navy reenlistment ceremony. So this pattern is going to Hawaii a second time. Okay, the straps are in. I have understitched the facing along. It looks so nice. And I have cut out pockets from the largest scraps I had left, which was not much. I was able to get 2 pocket pieces and then used some scraps of navy blue fabric for the other sides. And I can put them in so that the back of the pocket will be the floral and the front will be the navy. So this is the only part that you might see if the pocket opens a little bit. You shouldn't ever see the front, but if you do, it's gonna blend. It'll be fine. And now it's time for lunch. We'll be back. So I decided to make bound buttonholes on this dress. Bound buttonholes and I had a rocky start because the first time I made them I was using a very squidgy, springy worsted wool, which did not like to behave. And bound buttonholes very much require a fabric that can hold a good pressed crease, which that fabric did not. And I powered through and I made them. I was committed. I think I had to do like 12 or 15 on that dress. And then I ended up not actually liking the dress and took it apart, and I'm going to use the bottom half for just a skirt, but I haven't done that yet. But I had put so much work into them that I didn't want it all to be wasted. And yeah, I know, sunk cost fallacy. But they also looked really good when they were finally done. So I want to still be able to wear at least part of that garment. And I have done bound buttonholes multiple times since then on much better behaved fabric. I learned my lesson. And of course this is quilting cotton, so it loves holding a crease. These are looking really good. So I chose to do them here for a few reasons. Maybe most importantly, they take less thread than traditional buttonholes. And I kind of need to ration my royal blue sewing thread because I have a lot of blue garments in my sewing plans, all in like the same shade of royal or cobalt blue. So I'm trying to be judicious with it. And also, the bound buttonholes will make this feel more vintage, I think, because so many of my original vintage patterns from the 1940s call for bound buttonholes in the instructions. And while yes, these do take more time than traditional buttonholes, I think it's going to be worth it in the end. I mean, they already look so good and they're not even done. Also, I learned not to do bound buttonholes with velvet. Not a fun time. And the dress is almost done. We're leaving for Hawaii tomorrow, so, you know, progress. Everything's fine. The bound buttonholes look amazing. All I have left is tacking the facing on the inside of these two buttonholes. And then I need to sew the buttons on. But of course I can do all of that on the plane, so this is the last you will see of this dress until I'm wearing it. Ready? So yes, I finished my dress in time to take it to Hawaii, and I got to wear it, and I love it. It was perfect. I did forget to do the buttonhole on the halter strap before I left, and then I really didn't have a way to do the buttonhole once I was there and realized I had forgotten to do it. I was going to do it by machine. I think I'm going to try to actually do a bound buttonhole, even though the halter strap isn't really conducive to doing that. I'm going to make it work. It's going to require a lot of hand sewing, but I think it's worth it. Oh, and if you were paying attention, you may have noticed that, yes, I did finish the strawberry top as well. It's cute, it's whimsical, it's comfortable. It just makes me happy. And yes, I did bound buttonholes on the strawberry top as well. I can't help it, they look so good. So that is May project and Secret Extra May project number 2, both checked off. Also, I'm quite pleased with how little fabric I have left, just these tiny little scraps, and this one fairly big chunk of the blue. I kind of want to make something from it. And then just itty bitty little scraps of the strawberry fabric. And then a few smallish chunks of the coral pink. It's really satisfying to use as much of the fabric as possible. It makes me super happy. Also, I have to say, I was really lucky and I'm super grateful that my mom was able to come and visit, both because that enabled me to go to Hawaii because she was here to watch the kids, and because she was here with me and helping me fit my dress and brought me the buttons. And honestly, I owe all of this to her because she taught me to sew in the first place. And she's the one who introduced me to this UFO series concept as well. And this is her pattern that I borrowed. And she made the original strawberry dress for me when I was like 10 or so, and gave me the scraps of the fabric. Actually, a lot of my fabric stash in the early days was made up of scraps of my mom's projects. So there's probably quite a bit still in there. And this makes me so happy. It's like I'm getting a hug from child Chelsea. Okay. Without further ado, let's draw next month's number. This is the exciting part after all, right? Let's see what I get to do this next month. Number 8. Let's see which one that is. It's not very heavy. Oh, you know what? I was hoping it was going to be this one, I'm not going to lie. This one should be quick because it's already cut out. It is just the halter top of this dress made from this pink linen fabric. I made a purple linen halter top last summer. I wore it a lot. I really love it. And I have quite a few pieces in my wardrobe that would work well with a pink top. So I clearly need a pink top, right? That will be perfect for summer. So, tune in next month to see how well I did on that project. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Oh! Oops. So, between the top and let's there's an airplane.